John F. Kennedy was the 35th president, and he was president from 1961 to 1963. He was assassinated in the end of his first four-year term while visiting Texas to campaign for his second term. John F. Kennedy was not only the youngest president to be elected at the age of 43, but the first Roman Catholic to be president. John F. Kennedy's inaugural speech is one of his most famous speeches. This speech is also referred to as his Ask Not speech. This speech is referred to as the Ask Not speech because John F. Kennedy says, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." This saying later became a well-known quote of President Kennedy's.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
An inaugural address or speech is a speech that is given by the newly elected president to inform the public of their intention as a new leader of the country. Another reason the newly elected presidents usually give inauguration addresses are to be commencements to their four-year term. The first inaugural address was given by George Washington on April 30th, 1789. The date of the ceremony has since changed and now is held on January 20th every year. The ceremony has been on January 20th since 1937. On this particular year, however, there was a snowfall on the 19th that had some people discussing a change in dates, but Kennedy decided to continue with the ceremony despite the snow. John F. Kennedy's inaugural address is the main thing that started his approval in the public eye. John F. Kennedy wrote many deep thoughts that were tied into his speech that left many people thinking about what they had just heard. Since he was the youngest president to be elected, after he gave his inauguration address, a journal named the Wall Street Journal started saying that Kennedy had Mr. Swanson, who was a close friend of Kennedy's, write his speech. After hearing of this news, John F. Kennedy released something saying that he had little help writing his inaugural address. This changed the opinion of most people. So to the public, the fact that he wrote almost all of his inaugural address by himself helped with the public's approval. He started his writing process in late November. John F. Kennedy's goal was to make his speech as short and to the point as possible. Some people who might have disagreed with John F. Kennedy being the newly elected president would be citizens who voted and followed Nixon's campaign. Nixon and Kennedy had different political views on how the Cold War should be dealt with and thoughts on Cuba. And then there were some people who didn't understand why Kennedy would spend so much time on Cuba. Other people believed that John F. Kennedy was too preoccupied by the issues with Castro to be a good president. But despite all of those thoughts, John F. Kennedy was a fairly popular president.